Hello, everybody. My name is Ajay Koul. I'm the sales lead for BFSI at AMD. Thank you very much for joining me at ETBFSI Virtual Summit this year. It has been more than a year since we are having a challenging environment around us. While the challenges will keep coming, we at AMD are committed to build up high-performance technology solutions that will help solve some of the toughest challenges world is facing today. Today, I'm going to take you through how AMD has redefined the new standard for a modern business PC and data centers. And before I start, let me give you a brief introduction about my organization. AMD is known for a technology company from last about 52 years. Close to about 13,000 employees, headquarters at Santa Clara. We operate from about 22 countries with 46 locations. And last 53 years, we have been innovating into x86 kind of a processor as well as on the visuals from perspective of graphics. AMD today is listed in NASDAQ with a market cap of close to about $100 billion. So what's happening in the last, I would say, 1 or 2 years with AMD and where you will find AMD being more prominently used and how we are defining this new standards is you will see us with a new range of products around in Chromebook, more specifically for enterprise. We have already seen us in notebook space, how well and successfully we are able to build processors around for an ultra-thin kind of a business notebook. You also will see the new range of products, which is 5000 series for desktops, primarily for an ultra-thin, ultra form factor desktop, where the efficiency of a processor makes a lot of difference. At the same time, there's no compromise on the performance. As recent as few quarters back, we have launched new processors for workstation, more specifically for enterprise segment. And this, I would probably say, is one of the fastest processor from the desktop perspective using Threadripper into the market today. This all helped us to drive the momentum last couple of years. And just to give you a recap of what we have done in last couple of years from the perspective of design and platforms availability, we have grown up by 3x. And that's quite a good amount of growth in the commercial segment in terms of having the platform availability for the market. Because in these challenging environments, every user is treated differently, has a unique requirement, and we wanted to make sure that we cater to each of these users with as many different kinds of platforms to suit them the best. While we have more platforms coming up into the market, this also helped us to gain the market share close to about 2x in last couple of years from 2018 to 2020 kind of a data which we had. So that's a good growth and the momentum which is on our side from last couple of years. Now, while that's the momentum which is happening, but what happened last year, about more than a year about when the pandemic started, and we started living with a new normal now. The workplace has changed. The way we used to operate about a year back before the pandemic and the way we have been operating about a year now, and the way we see things will move, we are seeing technology is playing more and more important role for each and everything. May it be you consulting a doctor offline today using video conferencing tools, or you do an online shopping where you get products delivered to your home without even connecting with the person who's delivering or without even making a payment to him. And that way it's all contactless. And BFSI played a very important role for making these payment gateways a lot of options for the people to use. And it was very flawless and fluent, I would say, for that matter. Fitness people or even for that matter, guys who are keen to watching sports and all, they have started using technology in a big way. Even if you look at learning perspective today, it's all remote learning. Students or even the people who are doing one of the highest degrees today, it's all about working and learning out of home. So the new normal has been completely different, and people have started adopting that in a big way. And we have also realized that this is going to stay for a little longer duration than we initially thought about. With this new normal, the change in workplace, a lot of things have changed. And so are the IT challenges for the customers or for any organization for that matter. Now, what are these IT challenges and how AMD really helped is something which I'm going to take you through for next couple of slides. I'd say first and foremost is employee productivity. And no organization can afford to lose its employee productivity. And rightly so, because last couple of years, people have been really optimizing and seeing how best they can utilize their employee resources. We've seen last, especially about a year back, a lot of budgets were used primarily to make sure customer partners or customers even buy products which are hardware, software, and ecosystem based to keep their productivity of employees as high as possible. So, there's a lot of bifurcation, or I would say a routing of budgets which happened in that manner. We also see huge amount of data which is getting created on day-to-day basis and which is even getting consumed. Now, what's important here is, data and the survey which was done about last year by IDC in seeing the COVID impact. Even over half of the enterprise today is saying that, I am going to spend more money on the security. AMD plays a very important role here because we offer security from the silicon level. And that makes us a little different than what you have been seeing otherwise into the market. The third important, I think, challenge which we've seen happen in the new normal is how do we collaborate with the people outside? May it be your customers, may it be your colleagues, or may it be even with your friend circle. From the office perspective, it is more about customers and more about your colleagues. How do we interact and what are the best tools? So IT managers have been working day in, day out to find the best tools for their organization, which are more secure and at the same time brings in very high amount of productivities. So that's from the challenge perspective. But let's understand which are these users or an employee which are facing these kind of challenges. So typically these are the employee personas in any organization today, and I'm sure most of you can relate, either of these employee personas which are there on the slide now. So we have one side frontline workers who basically use an office productivity tool or a web browser, or for that matter, video conferencing to interact with outside world. We have content creators who do 3D rendering, modeling, and video editing, use a little powerful machines compared to the one which are the frontline workers, and are equally important part of the workforce. We have problem solvers as well. The guys who do software development kind of tools, they use AI, ML, do data analysis, and they really find ways and means of solving some of the new anticipated challenges which any organization or a particular company faces today. Well, these are one side of the workforce, and there are IT managers who run this whole show of making sure that all these guys around get one of the best of the product from the perspective of PC as well as network, and they keep evaluating then IT needs for their own organizations time to time, and keep adapting to the new workplace, I would say. Now we have to adapt, and there has been a saying which I have been discussing with my team all the time, and that's if you have to survive, you got to change. Change is inevitable. So we have to also survive and changing the current changing, I would say, workplace which has happened in the last 1 year, and people have started adopting it. I would say the best examples would have been, of course, BFSI did it very well, and there was not much of an impact. There was, of course, schools and kids who were learning together. The teachers, they did a fabulous job in this COVID scenario where they started adopting from an online way rather than the offline which they were following in the past. And we as a processor company has to always think about a few years ahead. And we could really relate it when we started adopting the new products which we started giving in the market last year. This is traditionally a way the trajectory was in the past when people used to count a multi-threading kind of a performance year to year, and it was about all incremental. Incrementalization was the way to live. But AMD last year, around in 2020, when we came up with a new series of products, we really changed that trajectory completely. And we said that, and we even gave the market one of the best products in terms of the multi-threading capabilities. Now, why these are very critical and important today is because of the simple model which you're using now. There are multiple tools which are getting used at any given point of time from a PC. And I think it's a time where the PC processor performance makes a lot of sense for anybody. Unlike in the past where, there was a very limited amount of processor capability getting used, especially from the endpoint devices. But last 1.5 years, I would say the processor capability has been tested a lot, and people look for machines which have very high processor capability. So AMD and with this Ryzen series of products have really been able to meet the customer expectations in that manner. Primarily because of the leadership performance we have from our process, which helped to bring in a little more productivity. And third important aspect I would say is people look for an uncompromisable portability. It has changed now. People used to look at all day battery life in the past, which is a machine which can deliver about some 6-7 hours of battery life. But that has all changed. People look for a machine which can deliver about 12-13 hours of a battery life. You charge for a day and be done with it. That's how the life has been, whether it's a mobile device or it's a laptop or a Chromebook or a product of that sort. People look for one-time charge and be done with the day. We at AMD are in principally building and continuously working to build products which are high on performance, which brings more productivity, does not have any lag or latency, we keep in mind the collaboration tools we are going to use, portability, security, and we build these products for all the professionals which are into the market today. You will see that the broader range of AMD has over a period of time increased considerably. We have close to about 150 different type of devices which we are currently sending into the market, both from commercial or an enterprise and the consumer point of view, which are available and which are being very well appreciated by the market. So while that was all about the endpoint devices, what we have been offering into the market, let me just take a couple of minutes talking about what we are doing onto the modern data center space. And we have been selling this for about a couple of years now. We started this journey with AMD EPYC as a brand name in 2017. 2019, around mid of it, we launched the second generation, and I'm glad and proud as well to announce that we have launched the third generation of EPYC processors last quarter, which is at around March. And by now, I think there are a lot of customers who have already started adopting AMD EPYC, and they were quite happy about the kind of a performance and the way we have disrupted on the server market and the acceptance of that. While on the enterprise space, on the server space, primarily there are challenges which are continuously there are of a different nature which keep happening. And in today's scenario, where I would say shop from home, we work out of home, schooling out of home, the data is becoming very critical, and usage of data is becoming highly important. So IT infrastructure is a continuous challenge, and people also look at bringing more capabilities or newer capabilities within that data center. At the same time, the budgets are also remain under pressure. Data management, we have multiple data centers in any organizations at different locations. How do you optimize and use the best out of each of them? The compute power is going high. There's a huge amount of data which is getting created and getting even consumed at any given point of time. Now, while all this data is next while, there's the security threats which are also at the same time going up. So people are really working day in day out to find out how best they can have one of the most secure environment within their organization, most specifically from the server point of view. When we launched the third generation CPU, we had 200 plus world records in our kitty. And I think more primarily because of the architecture we were already supplying in the second generation and the improvements we did in the third generation. And these world records, if you look at them, they are from different workloads. They are not a particular one type of a workload where AMD is doing pretty well with their EPYC processors. So may it be a database or a big data analytics, may it be a normal Java performance, or for that matter, HPC where floating point performance makes a lot of difference. We have world records around in all of them, including being loved by a lot of cloud and virtualization guys because of the more cores which AMD supports. We still have about 64 cores being offered in a single die, which is still unbeatable for last so many years. When we did second generation and third generation, what was a bit different we were trying to bring in? We improved the IPC upliftment for close to about 19%. And we also got in from a 4-core complex, we moved on to the 8-core complex, which brings in more, reduces the latency between the caches which we have. And we have close to about 32 MB of L3 cache and each of these core complexes. That's a huge amount of cache structure which helps to build up the performance. We have been liked by a lot of people in the HPC space, and we as a company are going to start an exascale era this year. till date, I think everybody have been talking about the petascale era, and world largest supercomputer has been doing 1 million billion floating point operations per second. But this year, with the AMD EPIC, you will see 1 billion billion floating point operations happening per second. Now, that's from the HPC perspective, where we're doing very well. Cloud, I think it has been the most important thing in the world today. With the kind of spike in demand for most of us, schooling, working, shopping from home, cloud providers are focusing more than ever on making the right technology investments to deliver the best performance, scalability, and the security, which is exactly why the leading cloud service providers chose AMD processors. May it be the AWS, Google, Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, Tencent, Alibaba, all these cloud, more than these cloud guys, I think we have close to about 400 instances across, which are going to be there in 2021 available. Now, that also helps you to give an ease of migration. I think people are looking for more options. People are looking for a better performing options. People are looking for a better commercial options, which AMD is able to help bring on the table for their customers. We take a pride in saying that the world's largest and most important cloud services are powered by AMD. Billions of users around in the world are using the Microsoft 365 or Teams, or for that matter, Twitter, Zoom, or more such kind of an applications, even Tencent Meeting for that matter. And all these are powered by AMD today. Employees, I think, expect from their workplace the devices as well as the performance productivity being very high. And we at AMD help by giving you EPIC on the data center and Ryzen from the desktop or client perspective. Thanks. And with this, I end my presentation. Stay safe. Take care.